Good morning. So I was talking to a gym owner yesterday, and we've been working together for about a year, and now his business is at a point where he's closing consistently 8 to 10 clients a month, and he tripled his business, went from 7,000 to about 20,000. And he's at a point now where he's like, man, I have so many clients. My classes are like 25 plus. I need to hire a trainer. And I want to focus more on the business than in the business. And I was like, good, man, this is essentially the next phase in your business, because most of the time, the first phase you're spending trying to find ways to get more clients consistently. The second part of that then turns into, once you have that and you're growing, you grow your revenue to a minimum amount, so then you can afford to bring on new team members. So currently he has someone who's helping him to call and book appointments for him. He closes them, and then you start to realize that they're not as good as you. So you need to train them more. You can't just get someone, throw them in, and then not expect them to perform well. You do need to train them, spend time with them. Then the second part of that is, when you get to that point, you need to also not just bring someone on, you need to train them too. And the third thing is obviously calling and then delivering services. And once you get to this point, you really start to think about your business differently. And because you begin to work less in the business meaning delivering the day-to-day services, delivering the day-to-day processes, you really start to think about your business as a function, like pieces that function together separately, and how they all work together. And you start to really think about how they all work together, and then you can kind of compartmentalize different parts of the business, like service, sales, marketing, finances, and taxes, teams, management, communication. Then you're like, cool, man, I'm starting to build the small pieces of a bigger and larger business, which is absolutely cool. So I really start to think about it like that. And then, whether you get a mentor or you get someone to help you and assist you in any of these other things, you begin to really start to see how, obviously, it always starts with getting more clients. Then when you've solved that, you've solved probably one of the biggest issues that most businesses deal with, is getting to the next phase and getting out of this, like, man, where am I going to get my next client? How am I going to afford my rent? How am I going to afford like my next bill? Bills are starting to stack. Or in the end, you're like, I just want to make more money. How do I make more money? Another way to make more money is, and certainly once you start getting more clients, is starting to sell higher end packages. So normal large group training could be anywhere from 150 to 200. Then if you get into semi-private, it could be like 300 to 400. Then if you get more one-on-one, it could be 600 to 1,000 a month. Just depends. But ultimately, if you're solving the first problem, which is getting to a point where you don't worry about where your next client is coming from, and now you're like, man, I got to build a team. Then you want to think about the team and how it's going to be structured. Do you have one trainer? Do you have two trainers? Do you have a manager? Do you have an admin who does admin-y stuff? Or is that going to go under you, or is it going to go under your admin? Or, how are you going to start building a team that's going to handle most of the business? And obviously, when you bring on a team, your revenue is going to go, your profit is going to go down, because now you got to afford the team, and so your revenue needs to go up. Then your rate of client acquisition needs to increase too, because now your operations and your overhead are a little larger and a bit more expensive. So just things to consider when you're looking to take your business to the next level. And certainly one of the most important things to think about is being systems driven and operations driven, because those are going to be the things that's going to not only drive the business further, but you're going to be able to leverage it better so that you can essentially bring your business to new heights, like 30, 40, 50, 60, 80K a month. I have a handful of clients who do over 85,000 a month. And they have full-on teams. They have a manager in each location, and then they also have essentially a district manager who oversees the multiple locations. And now they're basically completely out of the day-to-day, and they've they've delegated that to other people. Sure, their revenue dropped, but then their responsibilities, the owners in the business, they don't really worry about the day-to-day stuff. And now I just talk to the district manager of a multi-location business owner, and we talk on a bi-weekly to monthly basis on essentially just sales and marketing. So pretty wild.